So, in advance of the 2022 midterm elections, as we're getting closer, every day looks like maybe, just maybe, Republicans won't get control of Congress. Kevin McCarthy, the House Minority Leader, decided to do something drastic, something very un-Republican, so un-Republican that it hasn't been done since 2016, the birth of the modern Republican Party. And that is that he announced a platform.
What?
Yeah. Or something kind of like a platform.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can have a platform without like legs or like policy bricks or whatever the metaphor is.
Yeah.
But basically it's like they go right for it. They go for the jugular of Democrats. They blast them for having, quote, no plan to fix all the problems they created. And then in an unexpected move, they also present no plan to solve those problems.
Or at least in the few cases that they do present actual legislation, it's stuff that really would not do much to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Or it's like super vague. It's just, here's some bad shit that the Democrats are doing, which most of the time the way that they present it is either just wrong or completely misleading. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the four main pillars of the commitment to America, because they assured us that this was about specific policies. It was not about platitudes and cliches. Mm-hmm. It was about being very specific and stern about how to juxtapose us from the Democrats.
Which is why, at its announcement, they printed these on a postcard that people could carry around so they could remember them.
Yeah. So, number one, an economy that's strong.
Can we just pause right here? One of the things this is not a significant point. This is a small point. This is a very nitpicky point. I hate the phrasing of every single one of these.
Yeah.
Like, as someone who writes bullet points for a living, and these are the worst fucking bullet points.
You could have word economized. Like you're trying to prove that you'll be more responsible with the economy, but you're not even responsible with the economy of fucking language.
Yeah, and their principles are an economy that's strong. A nation
strong
that's
economy.
Safe.
You could just say a strong economy. Just fucking say a strong economy.
A future that's built on freedom. A government that's accountable.
A free future. A free future. An accountable government. Jesus. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know why. Every single like ending word is like a nice adjective that could be describing the noun, the subject of the thing that they're saying. But instead they add in this to be verb. Like, it's just okay. Anyway, I really hate their bullet points. Let's but also enough on that.
Like they waste their time in focusing on a bunch of platitudes and cliches, but they don't even they don't even fucking word them well.
Yeah.
Anyways, so let's go a bit more specific. All right. So let's start with an economy that's strong. First, fight inflation and lower the cost of living.
That sounds like a good idea. We should do that.
Yeah. How are we going to do that? Okay, well, they say we're going to curb wasteful government spending that raises the prices of groceries, gas, cars, and housing, and growing our national debt. Okay, that's just bad grammar.
Also, like, not it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but like, that's like government spending. You might be able to attribute some of the drivers of inflation, or like a portion of the like growing inflation, to like some of the stimulus that were part of saving our economy under the COVID pandemic.
Which I'd just like to point out, the Republicans also passed a stimulus package, which actually put more dollar amounts, had a bigger stimulus check that was put into the hands of everyday Americans. Mm-hmm. So are you saying that didn't contribute to inflation, but the one that basically did everything that did in the American Rescue Plan, that did contribute to inflation?
Yeah, I don't understand what, like, the point they're making is a bad point, but like, it's also like those stimulus packages were the things that saved our economy and prevented
Yeah.
us from diving deep into a significant recession.
Yeah.
Now, we're not totally out of the woods yet
Yeah.
because saving an economy is complex and hard. But like, it's not like the Democrats are doing nothing. You know what I mean? And the other side is like, they're claiming that wasteful government spending is driving grocery prices and car and gas and housing. That's just not true.
It's fucking supply chains. We've said this 100 times. It's supply chains.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they actually recognize the supply chain later. They talk about the supply chain later.
Yeah, later on, they also claim it for a different thing. So they're going to solve, they're getting credit for solving inflation in two ways.
Yeah. So the entire premise of that is just bullshit.
Yeah.
Increase take-home pay, create good-paying jobs, and bring stability to the economy through pro-growth tax and deregulatory policies.
The thing I love about this list of things is that they always spoil it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'd love to increase take-home pay. Good paying jobs, sweet. Stability in the economy, awesome. And we're going to do it by more tax cuts. Whereas last time we did tax cuts, 80% of the benefit over 10 years went to the top, what, 1%?
1%. Yeah,
1%. There you go. And then we're going to deregulate. Awesome. That's perfect. You know the thing that's going to increase take-home pay? No minimum wage.
Yeah.
It's just like, you guys hear yourselves?
Yeah. Yeah. Also, like, I tried to look through their more specifics because this is just like the pamphlet, right? Yeah. They actually do have more specific details on their website, which will be linked on the Patreon. And I really did try to look at, okay, what are your specific tax proposals going to be? Because if your specific tax proposals are, we're going to lower taxes on the middle class, but keep taxes for the rich exactly the same, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that. That's not a bad deal. But it doesn't say that. It doesn't really say anything about taxes, which is funny because usually that's the Republicans' go-to thing. Their whole thing is, we're the people where you elect us and we lower taxes on the middle class. Yeah. But they don't really give specifics about what that tax policy would look like. It's just pro-growth,
which to me sounds like tax cuts for corporations. Like, I don't know what else is pro-growth. If you know.
And if the argument is like reducing government spending or even just reducing the national debt, one of the biggest ways you do that is by increasing revenue, which you would do by taxing the rich, which you're not willing to do. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
That's the thing. That's the thing about so many of these is like, I'm not like in principle against many of the things that they list.
Well,
but the problem is the way that they, exactly. How could you be against it? It doesn't, it's like
an economy that's strong. I'm against an economy that's strong. Fuck strong economies. Who the fuck's going to be against that?
But at the same time, if you read between the lines, if you're familiar enough with Republican politics, you know that the things that they actually mean when they claim these platitudes are all things that are really harmful.
Yeah. Also, deregulation means decreasing workplace protection.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it always means. Yeah. So next, make America energy independent and reduce gas prices.
Sweet.
Okay.
That sounds great.
So I remember the Democrats proposed a bill to address price gouging among fossil fuel companies. For some reason, I'm drawing a blank. How many Republicans voted for that?
You know, I'm going to buy a vowel and say 0.
I actually don't remember the total number, but like almost, I think it might have been all Republicans actually, but at least most Republicans voted against that. And I know that Kevin McCarthy voted against that. Complete bullshit. Let's see what they say about it. Maximize production of reliable, cleaner, American-made energy and cut the permitting process time in half to reduce reliance on foreign countries, preventing rolling blackouts and lowering the cost of gas and utilities. So let's talk about that one for a second. So I actually did go through and look at what specifically do they mean by cleaner energy. And one of the things they do talk about, to their credit, because we want to be intellectually honest, they did talk about increasing funding for hydroelectricity, which I agree with them on. I completely agree with them on. All right. And you know what? If the Republicans take control, and we want to compromise on something. You want to propose some type of piece of legislation that focuses on hydroelectricity? I'll take it. All right, great deal. But they also talk about solar energy, and they give some misleading statements about it. They give some misleading facts about it. So they talk about the fact that the Democrats want to focus on electric cars and solar energy. And what they point out is, as it stands, a majority of materials for solar energy, a majority of solar panels, a vast majority, about 90% of solar panels come from China. And what they specifically talk about is the fact that they say China dominates control of minerals necessary for electric vehicles and renewable energy and helps manufacture over 95% of solar panels, much of which is used with forced labor. Now, if that's true, that's a decent point, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And to an extent, it is true, but it needs more context. All right. Actually, not too long ago, there was a Republican representative named Kathy McMorris Rogers who made the claim that the Democratic Clean Energy Plan is pro-China because 90% of solar panels and 80% of wind machines and 90% of rare earth materials are in Asia or in China. So basically, the argument is that if you want to be pro-solar panels and pro-electric vehicles, by its very nature, that is going to make for a pro-China policy. And so the Republicans are arguing here that if you do that, if you try to enhance solar panels, then you are creating a pro-China policy, because the only way that we can create an economy that is mainly built around solar panels is if we get it from China. So here are the issues with that. Number one, there actually has been an effort within the United States, and this is according to PolitiFact. There has been an effort within the United States over the last decade to try to diversify the sources in which it gets these types of materials from. Furthermore, if we're talking about investments in the manufacturing of solar panels, and within that legislation, we specify a focus on American manufacturing, as well as resources that were either made in America or mined in America, then wouldn't the fact that China currently dominates 90% of the market on solar panels be an incentive for us to invest more money into trying to develop solar panels? I mean, your argument is basically that because this is the current system, investing more money into solar energy will have the impact of helping China. But one of the things that Biden specifically talked about in his platform, and has specifically talked about several times, is the need to bring that manufacturing here. The fact that solar panels are a unique opportunity to create good-paying jobs in the United States. Yeah, and that was the focus of the legislation. So it is a completely misleading point to claim that we need to get away from solar panels because China is currently dominating the market. Yeah. That is a reason for us to become more invested into it.
Yeah. You can't, if you want solar panels at all, you have to invest in the manufacturing of solar panels.
Exactly.
If you want to not buy them from the people that currently manufacture them. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And severing dependence on China in the supply chain is the whole next section. They said, like within the strength economy, they said strengthen the supply chain and end dependence on China. So they start off by blaming Biden for the baby formula shortage, which is really frustrating because it's the Republicans in Congress that voted against a bill that would have addressed the baby formula shortage.
Yeah.
And then they talk about the need to enhance America's economic competitiveness and cyber resilience and expand U.S. manufacturing and move supply chains away from China. Yeah, all reasonable things, except only 24 Republicans in the House broke with the rest of the party to vote for the CHIPS Act.
Yeah, exactly.
Which would have done, which is going to do exactly that because it fucking passed.
Yeah. I don't even know what your argument here is now.
They're literally saying that we're going to do exactly what Democrats did, but because Democrats did it, we couldn't have supported it.
Well, and that actually underlines one of the biggest issues with this entire thing, because even in the few cases in which they propose like concrete policies, and actually not even necessarily bad policies. Again, if they're actually being honest about hydroelectricity,
sure,
like, I'll take it. Give us the deal. That's a great deal.
Yeah.
All right. Increase funding for hydroelectricity. Boom. We have a deal. But here's the thing. The Republicans are making it very clear that their intention is never to try to actually solve the problems. Because right here, they're talking about a problem that was worked on through the CHIPS Act.
Yep.
That like a large amount of Republicans did not vote for.
Yeah.
And they actually, and in order to be convinced for the Republicans that did vote for it, in order to be convinced to do that, they had to basically make a deal that with Democrats, that Democrats wouldn't try to do any more reconciliation packages.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That problem was addressed by this administration, and a bunch of them fought against it.
Yeah.
So the problem is, even if they do have solutions, they're not going to attempt to implement them.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Joe Biden were to implement a decent policy that would actually help people, that had bipartisan support, that would make Biden look good. And their number one priority here is not to make Biden look good. It's to try to make him look as terrible as possible so that they can try to take power in 2024.
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue here.
Exactly.
All right. And further evidence of that. All right. Because you might think, well, but aren't Democrats just as guilty of that? No. Because remember, the stimulus package that passed under Trump passed with overwhelming Democratic support. Mm-hmm. Then a very similar package passed under Biden, passed with virtually no Republican support.
Yeah.
All right. So look, I'm not saying that the Democrats are star-spangled awesome and perfect, but the fact of the matter is, when it comes to actually helping with good policy, Democrats have demonstrated that they are much more willing to work with Republicans, even if it makes Republicans look good,
mm-hmm,
in order to create better policy than the Republicans ever had for Democrats.
Yeah.
All right. Next, they talk about securing the border and combating illegal immigration. I looked through the specifics they had on this. They point to the fact that there has been a record number of interactions with Border Patrol since Biden took office, which Josh and I addressed this last week.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why there has been a record number of Border Patrol interactions with undocumented immigrants is because of Title 42. It's because a huge portion of these undocumented immigrants who are coming over and interacting with Border Patrol are coming there for the second time, because Title 42 allows Border Patrol to just send them back, send them back to Mexico, and then they attempt to come back. All right? A huge proportion.
Yeah.
And in the same fucking document, they reiterate their support for Title 42, the very policy that is causing this inflation of numbers. What the actual fuck?
Amazing.
Fucking amazing. All right. And they also talk about, they criticize Biden for ending the building of the border wall, which we've already addressed like hundreds of times over, that a border wall is a fucking stupid way of trying to combat. Like, here's the thing. That's the type of shit that used to be a parody. Like, the idea of building a border wall to stop immigration, that was a joke. That was the type of thing in like 2012 that Democrats would say to make fun of the caricature of the Republican Party, but no serious Republican was actually talking about it. And then when Trump first started talking about it, he was laughed at by most people, and then he got popular, and suddenly that became a huge...
And Republicans were like, what if we spent $40 billion on a symbol?
Yeah. Exactly. Reduce crime and protect public safety.
Great.
So here's the thing about that. All right. One of the things that they keep trying to say, that Republicans keep trying to say over and over and over again, is that the Biden administration's policies, and not just the Biden administration, but Democratic cities' policies towards crime, their soft on crime approach, has contributed to this massive increase of crime. Now, how much of that is true? Well, it's half true. All right? It is true that there actually has been a major spike in violent crime since 2020. That is true. All right? That is
and
true.
to be fair, credit where credit is due, half true is much more true than most claims that Republican leadership make. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. But here's the issue. This rise has happened in cities run by both Democrats and Republicans. In fact, in red states, they actually saw some of the highest murder rates of all. All right? And this is according to the Brennan Center for Justice. All right? Red states actually saw a higher increase in murder rates, which presumably those policies that would be in those states would be ones that are against the ones of the Biden administration or the ones of local Democrats that you accuse of being pro-crime.
Yeah.
But it's happening just as much, and in some cases even worse, in Republican areas. So the point to make there is not even necessarily that Republicans cause more crime. The point is to try to look at the crime rate and point to one specific policy or one specific set of policies. It lacks nuance.
Yeah,
and it's not.
totally.
That's not a very good way of looking at it. I mean, one of the things that we do know is that increases in poverty contribute to increases in crime. We know that. All right? It's objectively true. And we also know that economically, COVID-19 was a horrific hardship on much of America. Again, I don't want to oversimplify it because there are a lot of different factors, but is that probably a factor? Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the thing. Which do you think is more likely to have contributed a record increase in violent crime? The Democrat in office, when we've had a bunch of Democrats in office without record increases in violent crime, who has done nothing to change the way that police are funded or administered or it really hasn't had any impact that. So which do you think? That's the driver, or the once in 100-year pandemic that spiked mental illness, kept people confined in their homes, and increased financial hardship and poverty? If you were a betting man.
Yeah. So complete bullshit. Defending America's national security, support our troops. I'm just going to stop you right there. Y'all motherfuckers tried to block the
PACT Act.
The PACT Act.
Yeah.
All right. You didn't.
Yeah.
You failed at it, but you tried to for political gain.
And notice
the fuck up.
Doesn't say anything about protecting our classified documents and national security secrets.
Yeah, actually, on their website, under the whole government that's accountable, they do actually address that they want more transparency on the FBI raid of Donald Trump, that they want to release all those documents. Like, the fact that that's even a part of your fucking platform, like, I understand that might be something you believe, but to put that as part of your fucking platform, come on.
This random private citizen who used to be president is being prosecuted for potential crimes.
Yeah.
We don't want that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
A future that's built on freedom.
That's
Make sure
beautiful.
every student can succeed and give parents a voice. Okay, so am I against parent choice in education? No. Do I think that parents should be involved in their child's education? Absolutely. Do I think that parents should have more power over writing the educational content than actual experts that spend time studying it? No, I do not.
No, thank you.
And the thing is, like, it's a buzzword.
Yeah.
Because if you truly believed in parent choice, the thing is, you can't practically believe in parent choice for everybody because parents have different views about what education is going to look like.
There's a single curriculum.
So if I'm a parent and I want my kids to learn about the history of LGBT people, and I came to a board meeting and said, this is what I want, like, does my choice matter? Well, to the Republicans who are passing laws that try to prevent even talking about it, that try to ban books that discuss it, no.
Yeah,
my choice does not matter. So it's a complete buzzword. Don't believe in it. I can't believe they fucking included this. Defend fairness by ensuring that only women can compete in women's sports. I can't.
Why? Why even have that in there?
Why? I understand that you believe that, but why put that in?
To be fair, it's part of the recipe. A sprinkle of parental choice, a little bit of transphobia.
Yeah. God. I just
also, like, how would they do that? How is the House, the Republican-controlled House, going to do that? That's one of the frustrating things about this whole thing is, like, so many of these things.
I thought you
believed
in states' rights.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how are you going to pass a federal law that says no school can allow people, like a federal gender in sports law? Like, that's like, not going to happen.
Are you
fuck off? That shouldn't be part of a national fucking platform.
Yeah. I mean, it's stupid enough when it's in a state platform, but at least it makes sense in the context of what you're talking about.
At least it's possible to apply.
At least it's possible.
Wish it weren't possible, but
this is just virtue signaling.
Exactly.
This is just virtue signaling.
Exactly.
Achieve longer, healthier lives for Americans.
Totally. Absolutely. Would love if they cared about that.
Yeah, would love that.
Like,
lower prices through transparent. Lower prices, motherfuckers. You blocked capping the price of insulin. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like,
no. We need to increase competition by having just a couple of large companies produce all the drugs, and that's how we will lower the price of insulin. That's going to be it. Just the same answer that we've been providing for decades.
The same answer that's
yet
never worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know what they say? If at first it doesn't work and at second it doesn't work, try, and then get elected a Republican to the House, and then you're set because you get paid.
Yeah. It's just
by the pharmaceutical companies.
Confront big tech and demand fairness.
This one's just, I can't believe this one's part of
I thought you were against
platform.
regulation.
Yeah, exactly.
You've said you're against regulation.
Yeah. But the other thing about this is, like, so there's like a couple sub bullets here. One of them is greater privacy and data security protections for Americans. Great. That is that's a part of everybody's platform. Awesome. Equip parents with more tools to keep their kids safe online.
So you're for repealing the Patriot Act then?
Yeah,
Republicans?
Exactly.
You want to repeal the Patriot Act? Because if you want to repeal the Patriot Act, I'll take that deal. I'll take that fucking deal.
I'll bite it. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. They want to equip parents with more tools to keep their kids safe online. Okay. Makes sense. I don't know how, again, the Republican House in Congress is going to do that. They're not developers. They're not software engineers. Like I guess they can regulate the companies to make sure that there's a way to do that. So, like, great. That would be fine with me, but that doesn't seem like a very Republican approach. But the worst thing is that, to me, the most ridiculous bullet is stop companies from putting politics ahead of people. And what they mean by this is that they are all up in arms about social media companies supposedly silencing and censoring conservative viewpoints.
Yeah.
Which study after study shows is just not fucking true.
Yeah, they do it to leftists just as much.
Yeah, right? and the thing is,
we're against that, by the way.
Yeah,
like we on this pod, we have spoken out against that. Like in terms of for both Democrats and Republicans, like conservatives and liberals. But I just like to point out, if this is a part of a platform for the House, like, again, we're against that on principle, but if this is a part of a platform for the House, presumably the only way that you would be able to do that is through regulating social media, which you're supposed
and regulating speech on social media.
You're supposed to be against that.
Yeah, totally.
That's
well, the other thing here is like we know that inflammatory opinions spread faster on social media than non-inflammatory opinions.
Yeah.
It's like extreme viewpoints are not being censored. They're given a megaphone. Like, this is not the problem. You know what I mean? Yeah. In my opinion, I'm against censorship. Totally. I don't want large corporations to play the role of government, and I don't want anybody to be have society level control over communication and all that stuff. I don't want that, obviously. But the much larger problem of social media is its ability to disrupt our social cohesion via algorithms that are meant to drive division. That's a way bigger problem than the 5 or 6 times when they remove a post that gets posted again.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They're going after the wrong thing here, in my opinion.
A government that's accountable.
Great.
Literally all the shit that they say is just
it's
Biden.
Just yeah.
One point that they make is Merrick Garland needs to retract his statement where he called parents who literally threatened to kill FBI members, called them terrorists. And when they were straight up showing up at houses and were threatening to kill them, and he was like, hey, that's terrorism. And of course Republicans strawmans the argument to say, oh, you're just saying that people that speak out at these board meetings are all terrorists. No, I'm saying that the people that threaten people in the FBI are terrorists or at least insurgents. So preserving our constitutional freedoms, uphold free speech. Listen, all right, here's what free speech looks like in the context of the right wing. All right. What free speech looks like is I should be able to say whatever conservative shit that I want and not be attacked for it. But when liberals say shit, cancel the fuck out of them. All right. You take a knee during a national anthem, fired. All right. Burning flags. Nope. Trump said that should be punishable by prison time.
Yeah. And people cheered.
And furthermore, which party is it that's been putting out a bunch of anti-protest laws? Is it the Democrats or the Republicans?
Yeah.
It's the Republicans.
Yeah.
All right? So don't tell me that you're for free speech. You are not for free speech. Guarantee religious freedom. You're the ones that are championing fucking
Christian nationalism,
which
a national
is
religion
against religious freedom.
Yeah.
Hold Washington
Nathan.
accountable.
It's freedom to be a Christian.
Yeah.
Is what they're saying.
Yeah, hold Washington accountable. Reign in government, abuse of power, and corruption. I agree with that. All right, and I looked on there and I was like, oh, does that mean that you're against people in Congress having individual stocks? Didn't see anything about that.
Any campaign finance reform?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. And then they also say save and strengthen Social Security and Medicare. And I tried to look for what they were talking about specifically. And all they fucking talk about is the fact that there is a gap between the revenue that's coming in and what's going out in those programs, which presumably the only way to fix that is either to raise taxes or to cut them.
Yep. Yeah.
And I wonder what the Republicans would do. And finally, restore people's voice, ending special treatment for members of Congress by repealing proxy voting. I actually don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah,
I'm going to need to look more into that. But that is interesting. I want to look. Increase accountability in the election through voter ID. Look, that's not. If that was where they stopped, then that would be one thing. But that's not where they stop. They try to decrease the amount of voting places in each county, and they try to have, and in some cases, like in Texas, they had one voting place per county, no matter how many people were in it.
Yep.
So,
and they try to purge voter rolls. Yeah. All of the measures that they talk about are, again, addressing the wrong part of, this is the party that tried to overthrow a fair election.
Yeah.
It's hypocritical for them to talk about restoring people's voice.
To which I forgot to mention, speaking of that, one of the other things on their platform that they talk about is protecting law enforcement. All right. Protecting law enforcement from violence or crimes that might happen against them. Unless, of course, that law enforcement is trying to prevent the certification of an election from being trampled by a bunch of dumbass insurrectionists. Then fuck them.
Yeah. That's the thing. I think the whole takeaway here is like, at best, there are platitudes in here that sound good on paper. And then when you actually understand what they're talking about, the kinds of policies that they tend to implement to support these platitudes, you realize that they're really harmful policies. At worst, like some of the worst parts of this are discriminatory, transphobic, like the things that undermine rather than support constitutional protections and constitutional rights. They're hypocritical, and ultimately, like, it's a crappy platform.